All right, it's Friday. You know that what that means. Time for me to learn how to speak. It's time to deploy. Welcome back to another episode of Deploy on Friday. Here, Jim, as always, is joining me. How was your week?
Yeah, great week. Up in Brisbane again this week, at the office with the principal engineering group discussing our target architecture for next year. Fun things afoot. Yeah,
Anything exciting you can share?
yeah. I mean, I've alluded to earlier that I've been working in a small team to sort of build a new event-based architecture for our execution pipeline. So the thing that actually does deployments. So we talked about that, and we sort of learned enough about that to know that it's something we want to go forward with. So yeah, we'll be ramping that team up to deliver more reliable and more scalable executions for Octopus soon. Yeah.
Can't wait. That sounds awesome. Anything on the roadmap?
There's nothing on the roadmap. We'll probably be starting to get it on the roadmap soon. There's a lot. There's a lot to do, right? We've got to sort of move a lot of things that currently are an old architecture to a new architecture. So that always takes a bit of time. We're going to be doing a lot of dog fooding internally first. So we might tell some of that story along the way. Maybe we'll have some interesting ways of telling that story. But as for it actually appearing on the roadmap, that would be, we're not sure on the timeline of it well enough to really put it on there yet, I guess. So yeah.
Fair enough. All right, let's get into the latest news. So this is a blog post written by Henrik entitled "Expanding the use of execution containers." So we introduced execution containers for steps a while back. They're simplified containers that allow you to perform steps, basically the work of steps within them. We introduced this a while back, and so this is basically a blog post written by Henrik that talks about how you can leverage that capability as an inline Docker file. So you can define the container as an inline Docker file or a URL to a Git repository to build the Docker container image on the fly as part of the execution container itself. So this article goes into details about this, talking a little bit about the challenge of execution containers, what they pose from a deployment perspective. But inline execution containers basically allow you to define these directly inline, which is great. So the idea here is you can take one of these things, construct it as either a Git repository, a reference to a Git repository, or you can actually have it reference a Docker file and build from there. So really nice stuff. I think this is going to be a great sort of evolution of our story. Here's the example utilizing a URL to a Git repository. So as you can see, it's just pointing to a Git repo there, and then you're leveraging the Docker container that's leveraged there, which is fantastic. So yeah, changes like this, always a great thing. This is a blog post by Henrik that's now available. You can read more about it up on our blog.
Awesome.
Yeah. We hosted a webinar earlier today, or I did. So I hosted the Octopus 101, the version. We have a new graphic now, so that's fun. But the recording for that is now available up online. You can find the rest of our webinars at /webinars. We have some interesting ones coming up. So we have this one on May 14th, featuring myself, Steve, and Dan. And we're going to be highlighting the 2024 State of CI/CD report by the CD Foundation and by /Data. So this is a webinar that you can sign up for. We're going to go through the report itself. We're going to talk a little bit about its findings and talk about what it means to you from the perspective of implementing a CI/CD process. Then following that, we have Paul and we have Nathan. Nathan's from Google, talking about navigating success with DORA. So DORA metrics are a set of criteria that you can utilize to measure the way in which you're doing deployments. And this is an organization that is it's created by Google and is provided through those metrics. And it's something that we actually integrate with. And then later this month, we've got Bob talking about a session here called Kubernetes for the Rest of Us. So this is actually a really good introductory session. If you're at all interested about Kubernetes, kind of like how it works and what it does and all that sort of stuff, that's a great session for you. And then we've got another one listed here called Introducing the Octopus Deploy app for GitHub. This will star Michael and Dylan talking about our new Octopus Deploy app for GitHub, which is pretty cool. Now, believe me, there's more. We have a ton of webinars coming. I think I went through the list today. We've got about 10 or so planned out just for over the next couple of months or so. So lots and lots of webinars coming, but you can find the rest of these and sign up for them at /webinars.
You'll be hoarse at the end of it all.
I don't think so. Bring it on, I say. Bring it on.
Not me.
If you want it, what's that?
Not me. I can do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. If you want to check out the recording, we just posted it a couple hours ago. That's the Octopus 101 series that I did this morning, so you can check that out there. And every other video that we have there, including Deploy on Friday recordings, etc., are all listed there. We post there at least almost daily now, if not weekly. So there you go. Another resource here. This is a webinar this is the webinar sign up page for the Navigating Success with Door. Just wanted to show you this to you. So Paul is our global customer advocate at CodeFresh/Octopus, and then Nathan is the Door lead from Google. So this is something you can sign up for. This is on May 29th. So make sure to sign up for that. We also are at a bunch of events. This is the event that we were just at called QED, or by a partner of ours called CROZ. This was in Croatia. We had a great time there, and we're posting photos of this to our social channel, so stay tuned for that. We have a bunch of other events that we've done, and a series of events that we're going to be doing, so you can find those all at /events. Been busy on the social media front, so lots of stuff coming relative to Octopus, lots of information that's been posted from CodeFresh perspective. Some articles that we posted recently. Steve posted this one to the news stack entitled Gatekeepers Limit Continuous Deliveries Benefits. Having too few people with deployment authority reduces software delivery performance. So the idea here is, with this article, Steve goes into details around basically why it is that, when you're doing deployments and, looking at your perspective, you have this notion of what are called deployment gatekeepers. This is kind of like a speed bump here. And deployment gatekeepers are the folks who basically... they're kind of akin to what you would see with solutions that are out there like ServiceNow when you're utilizing them for ITSM. So the sort of management systems that control deployments, etc. So deployment gatekeepers can slow you down, and there's reason for that. Sometimes good, sometimes bad. There's a deployment survey that we actually put out, and we said that, and we found in there that teams with a single deployment gatekeeper were less likely to see efficiency gains within the first 100 days than teams with more than one deployer. So the idea here, I guess, is you want to have more people being able to push the deploy button. And that's kind of you want to democratize deployments, if you will. So ship often and early is sort of the mantra. And we highly encourage that, certainly as a CD tool vendor. But yeah, there's some certain cases where this can't sometimes be a bad thing. So yeah, just going through this article, you can take a look at some of the justifications for having them, some of them for not. So if you're all interested, you can check out his post up on the news stack, which is available now. We talked about this last week, didn't we? The new Kubernetes agent. We're promoting it now on Twitter.
Yeah.
So this is awesome. This is the blog post we highlighted last week. This is from Alistair talking about our new Kubernetes agent, which allows bi-directional communication between Octopus and a Kubernetes cluster for doing all sorts of operations, etc. So we talked about this on the last episode of Deploy on Friday. We're now starting to promote it up on Twitter and social, and so awesome stuff happening there. Bob did recently a video, he did a presentation that talks about the lessons learned from building a deployment process for 100 plus developers. It used to be 150 plus developers, Bob. What happened? But basically, if you're at all interested, you can check this out there. This was at CD. This is now on the Linux Foundation site, but this is available from CDCon, which was in Seattle last month that we attended. We were there along with Ships and with Alex, and they did presentations on learning lessons around, doing their deployments with customers. So lots of great stuff there. Wrapping up some other things here. We did recently a World Art Day. We had a bunch of submissions for this, and we decided to do a contest for a bunch of octopi. So we had Paul, our brave octopus, cape donning octopus there. So you can see some variations of that. The one that won was this one here, the Stay Safe, Stay Green. The Octo Enviro Octopus. So this one is now an emoji available in our Slack channels. So we may make this available on our community Slack channel, but this was something that we got into. So some great submissions there for World Art Day. And then finally, we had a bunch of posts promoting our stuff up on LinkedIn. If you haven't signed up for following our LinkedIn page, feel free to do so. We've got a bunch of posts that we always post there, so feel free to state that. We're starting to promote our webinars, which is awesome. So that, as they say, is everything.
Nice.
Yeah, nice and short. So anyways, if you happen to stumble across this video, feel free to give us a like and subscribe. Otherwise, we will see you next week on Deploy on Friday. Take care, everyone, and happy deployments.